So, how to best leverage your TCAs, which is the mortgage coach total cost analysis, to give more meat and substance to your social media content. That is exactly what this video is going to go over. So, I've had quite a few of you. Usually, it's y'all will see Denise Donahue, the mortgage nerd, who is my identical twin, my roommate. She will sometimes post reels that she does a great job articulating and educating from a simplistic lens where it's easy to understand. So that's one aspect. But two, she oftentimes will show her screen and her nasty fingernail. Who knows if she'll watch this, but she'll show her screen and she's like pointing to give that third party validation or the evidence beyond just words to give some meat to her content. And so, one, the art of knowing what to say and how to capture attention and yet also making it easy to understand is important, because if people leave the video and it's still just as confusing, or there's terminology or lingo that they're like, I don't really want to know how the sausage is made, but I still also want to make sure I'm understanding what you mean and it gives some social proof, then this is what today's video is going to be about. So I'm going to show you how to do this in the actual apps themselves. So I'm going to record my screen so y'all can follow along. And guys, this is a great video to share with team leads, with branch managers, production partners. If you're creating content, I can't stress enough the importance of validating your words, because anyone can be a top producer. I see that term thrown out a lot. And who defines what a top producer is? It's based off volume, because that can't be fair. There's people in California that have way higher purchase prices than, say, Mississippi. Is it based off family served? But how can that be fair if they may have a lot of families they've served, but they had to take a price exception for almost all of those families. And so they've only hurt the bottom line and they're not profitable. This is where anyone can be a guru. So be careful on who you choose to take advice from, and know that other people are thinking the same thing. Like, how do I know I can trust you when it seems like everything can be a bait and switch these days, including deep fakes, right? Okay, so let's start. I'm going to go to the Instagram app. What I like about Instagram is it's a lot easier to edit and record from. So let's say I'm on Instagram. There's two different ways you could get to this. You could click on the little plus icon in the center at the bottom. I could click plus, and from here I can click camera at the top left. When I click camera, it's going to give me access to my camera, like on my phone, where I'm recording like live time. But I could also choose to upload directly from my camera roll if I had this pre-recorded. But in today's video, and for this purpose, I'm going to show you how to do it directly from your phone. So I'm going to hit camera, and let's say I'm going to start here. Here's what I like about Instagram. See the little belly button guy? I call it it's the white circle. When I tap on it, it shows it's recording. See that pink line that's getting bigger and bigger? It's recording. I can hit stop. Then I can hit at the bottom right-hand corner at the very bottom where it has two arrows, I can click that button and it changes from my front camera to now my rear-facing camera. So this is what you guys typically see, and this is how you can incorporate your TCAs or whatever it is that you're trying to show. And you would tap on the belly button guy. You would record what you're trying to show them. So shout out to Lender Marketing Platform, because this was from Scott Nicholson, and it's showing side-by-side comparisons of the 5 different ways someone can pay a buyer's agent. So when I'm done recording and showing this, I would hit the belly button guy, because now that has ended that segment. I would go back to my front facing, and I'm just going to do a tie down or put a bow to conclude the video. Again, I would hit the belly button guy. This would be me doing the conclusion. Remember that we usually want to do the framework of like introduction, some kind of framing of what you're talking about in the video, then the problem and the solution. I'm going to hit the belly button guy to stop. Now, all of this starting, stopping is going to all be married together when I hit this next button. So when I click next, you will see it's all going to be back to back. So I'm not touching anything. Let's let this play. And I know you guys can't hear the audio, but you guys have already heard it. But this is how Denise does that. And you can do this directly within the app itself. There's a lot of confusion where people think that like they were trying to do it on their camera roll on their phone, not realizing you can't record on your camera and go back and forth. You'd have to make them individual clips, okay? So I'm gonna now click edit video on the bottom left, and I wanna just go over some of these features real quick. because my last tutorial that I made, which I want to say was like a year ago, of how to upload an Instagram reel, there's been some new features and some things added. So you can always add clips, or you can cut if you need to trim. Like maybe it shows in the very beginning a portion of your hand hitting record and you don't like it. You could always hit edit. And now that single clip that recorded, I can move the yellow bar and make it shorter or smaller. Okay. I could also, like, say I want to split this up because I said too many times, which I tend to do. I could always click on the next video and I can hit split. See at the bottom where it says split? And now it's going to like slice that timeline right in half. So now let's say if I wanted to delete this, I could then just go to delete or discard. The split feature is really nice because then you can trim where you need to and you can edit if there's other things that either bother you or you want to change. You can always reorder, replace. You can also crop. So some of this you're just gonna have to play with a little bit. But let's talk about adding text, why you should add text, and how that's different than adding captions. And then also if you wanted to add audio. Now, adding trending audio does help get more reach. You do have to be careful when you're posting from a business professional account. If you post licensed music, there could be issues in the long run. So let's say I'm going to add text. And what's the number one mistake people make on Reels? You guys know? It's the cover page. It's the headline or the hook that tells people what the video is about so that they will actually tap on it and watch. So maybe for this one, I do 5 ways to get paid. Now I can change, there's this little toolbar. I can change the color of the font to any of these and I can keep scrolling. I can use the dropper and I could choose, like maybe I want it to be the same color as this blue. The dropper allows you to choose whatever's in the frame. You could change to match that exact color. So this helps for branding. Let's say if I want to change the font style, I just click on the uppercase, lowercase, and I can change the font. Do bevel. Maybe you want to put some animation towards it, like it's a typewriter. Okay, I'm going to not animate. Do you want it to sparkle, neon, alignment? I usually prefer the left alignment. But let's say I don't want the font to be that blue. I want it to be like the background. Then I can click at the far right. See where it has the uppercase A with the square around it? If I tap that, this changes and it gives me a couple options if I tap it a few times. I can have an outline. I can change the colors based off which one's the outline or the main font. And then this is how you can put some, like depending on what was in the background, if you wanted it to pop a little bit more, and this is reversing the color. So this is what I meant by the font. So, and I can put my fingers, if you put 2 fingers on it, you can make it bigger, smaller, move it up or down. I'm going to leave it there. Then I'm going to hit done. Now, do you see on the edit toolbar, the 3rd timeline in purple is the font that I just added to the screen? And I don't really want that to be the main cover page. Instead, what I would rather is let's move it. If I click on the actual, you have to click on it so that it's highlighted in yellow to change where you want it. When I added the text in the first place, I should have been on the part in the timeline that I wanted it. But I'm just showing you how you can edit the length. Like maybe this is something you want on for the entire video. You would just move the yellow toolbar to wherever you want it to end. Maybe you just want it to be to this clip, or maybe you just want it for like the second at the beginning. This is how you could change that. I wouldn't want it over my face. I would want it right here. And see how it blends? If you're at this point and you're like, dang it, how do I go back? One, you could either tap at the bottom left where it says 5 ways to get paid. If I tap that, it takes me back to the editing frame. And then if I tap the video footage, it takes me out of the preview, back to the main screen. I can also hit plus to add more text if I wanted to at that point, which I don't. But let's say I want to edit the font. All I did was tap on it, and now I'm going to change it to, let's do that. Okay, done. Now, how do you add music? Again, I can either go to edit video, or at the very top, this is like our go-to toolbar, is one, the down arrow with the line, that means save to camera roll. The music icon is how you can add audio. Now, when you see audio that has that upper arrow with the diagonal, that tells you it's a trending audio. which is usually good. But sometimes the audio doesn't match like the tone or the vibe that we're going for. So it's always important to get a preview, which you can do by tapping on the play button on the right. I have my volume turned down on this, so you guys won't be able to hear it. But this is how you can preview what is it that's going to be added. Okay. And let's say I'm doing Olympic theme, because as of this recording, it's July 2024. We have the Summer Olympics going on. So let's say I pick Elevate. And I'm really just trying to use this to help me get more reach because it's a trending audio. Then what you have to always do, otherwise you're going to be competing with the audio, is when you go back to the music icon, you're going to tap on it and you're going to go to controls. You guys see that in the top left? Hit controls. This is how you adjust the sound. So I want me turned up, the camera audio. I want people to hear me. And I want this turned way down to like just 1 so that I get credit for the trending audio, but I don't want it to be overpowering the video. This is also where you can do enhance to enhance the sound quality. This is where you could do a voiceover. So maybe this is just you showing a screen, or you could do a screen recording of how to start the application process. And so you're just recording your screen, and instead of obviously you talking, because when you're recording the screen, it's only capturing what's on your screen, you could upload it to Reels and do a voiceover, where now it's going to record your voice as you're walking them through the keystrokes. You can hit saved, and you can also add sound effects here. Let's see, a couple other things that I want to mention and revisit is the difference between adding text and adding the captions, the subtitles. Like when someone's talking and you see their words, they don't manually do this. You can do it straight from the app. If you click at the top, see where it has the square with a smiley face, second one from the right, you tap that and you would tap captions. See that little blue? This is where you could also add any of these stickers. Like if you wanted to add a photo, like maybe you have a screenshot of the TCA and you wanted to add that in the footage, you could do it there. You could add location, you could do a cutout, like you can play around with this. But if I click captions, there's AI that will auto transcribe your words. Now, you do need to spot check that the spelling is correct. So if you ever see something that you're like, oof, that wasn't spelled correctly, or if you want to change the font styles, you can do this below. You can also tap and make it bigger or smaller, or change the placement of where the captions are, because see, that's distracting the way it is right now. It's taking over the whole point of showing the screen. This is where you can play around with it here. You can also change the color if you want. Good rule of thumb is like a little bit below the chin, because people like to watch you as they are reading the words. And also be careful, it does now allow you to drag this and see how it gives you kind of parameters of where other icons are. You don't want to be competing with the other icons within the app. Do you see that? So I like to put it like just a little bit below the chin. What a great screen grab of that. Okay, let's see. If I go back to edit video, I'm just trying to see if there's anything else that I can show you that's not going to be too overwhelming. Talked about edit, adding clips, stickers, captions, voiceover, volume. I think that's good for now. This is just basics, guys. Okay, basics. Now let's go to the, again, this is the editing. If I wanted to get out of it, I would just tap on the main screen, like on my face, or I can hit the blue arrow to the right. And this is where I would add my caption. The most important part of any caption is the first 125 characters. That's the first sentence people will see to then dictate, are they going to continue reading? Now, the number one mistake, like we talked about, was the hook being in the correct placement on your reel before you ever post. Guys, see where it says edit cover, the bottom? Please hit edit cover. And you could, if you had a picture saved, like maybe it was a lifestyle photo with your hook and you had it saved in your camera roll, you could always add from camera roll here and you could import. But let's say I'm trying to do it all from my phone. I can move this anywhere I want, but I was intentional before I got started where I want it at the very beginning, 5 ways to get paid. The problem is when we record, we're in vertical view, but when it posts, it goes on our Reels feed and our home feed for Instagram. So you must always then click profile grid in the top right, profile grid, and see if I were to have posted this, the hook would have been cut off a little bit. Do you guys see that? This is 90% of the success. You want to move this down so I can take my finger and I can make it bigger, smaller, whatever I want. You have to make sure that the video tells the audience what it's about to convert the click, to get them to hit play. There's a lot of feeds that I see where there's a lot of video content, but all I see is your face and I have no idea what the video is about. And I'm too lazy to click on all of them to figure out if it's relevant to me. Always assume people are lazy. So once I have it placed where I want it, I would hit done. You write your caption. So I'll just put example, blah, 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 blah. Make sure when you're writing captions that you chunk it down. Don't do one big block paragraph. We've got to remove the friction to make it easy on the eye, like easy to consume. If it's too much work to consume, that's why some of the really noisy, overproduced videos is like too much for people to consume, where they move on to the next. We have to make it easy on the eye as well, which is why I like to do paragraphs. Sometimes I'll throw in emojis where it fits so that it trains the eye like where to look. Always tag people if there's someone to be tagged, or if I click tag people, I can hit invite collaborators. When you invite collaborators, which Instagram allows you to have multiple collaborators, it will send them an invite to their DMs where they can accept, and then it will show on both of your news feeds. So that's what we typically do when we break down some of y'all's weekly show content, or if you're being interviewed, we want to give both people, whoever you're interviewing and yourself, that's basically you creating marketing for them. But you also want to transfer that trust and get on their feed so that anyone who's following them can now also then find you. So that's the difference between a tag, just shows on the tag feed. And I'll show you what I'm talking about in a minute. Collaborators, both of you are on the both of your home feeds at the top. Okay, so I would hit done. You can always add a message button if you want so that people can easily contact you. That's where it will show on the screen. Hit cancel. Always, always, always add location. Location actually helps with just the geo stamp. Topics, when it fits, you can have up to 3, and you'll see it'll give you different options. I'm usually scrolling all the way to the bottom. There's relationships, there's games, home and garden. These are just categories to help tell the algorithm who the content is made for. So sometimes it's financial markets, entrepreneurship, small business. Some of these you can tap see more and it'll give you more options. That's the topics. And then I can allow it. I usually always allow it to recommend on Facebook. Isn't this interesting how it says add AI label? They now want, because there's so many AI influencers or altered content. So I'm not going to post this. Let's get out of this. Actually, I'll just save to draft for later. All right. So here's what I mean by the different feeds. Right under the highlight section, see how there's 9 boxes? This is your regular home feed when I click that. The one right next to it, this is the Reels feed. When people are going to your profile, they usually are going to land on the profile itself, which is why it's really important to have a bio and a link in your bio along with highlights. But when they go to your home feed, it's a perfect square that's posted on the home feed. So too many times I see where it says, are you interested or committed? If you spot check your home feed right now, you want to make sure, one, do you have a hook? Do you have a headline? And is any part of it chopped off? Because again, when people are scrolling, they are not going to want to just see what every video is about. You have to make it easy. So see how all of mine fit? That's what you want. Most of the time, and a lot of video editors, they don't understand this because they don't understand social media. They design it for the Reels feed. And yes, it may technically fit in the Reels feed, but nobody's just going here usually. And then your tag feed is the next one. This is your tag feed. When people tag me in things, this is what shows up. So the difference between tag and a collaborator, let's see, which one? Was it this one? Do you see at the top where it says Deborah A. Bird and 2 others? When I click on Deborah A. Bird, it'll show on my feed because I accepted the invite. You can always remove these afterwards, but if Denise goes into her DMs and hits accept, then you will see it's also on her, good Lord, those Nike stilettos, absurd. It was also on her feed. This is how we transfer trust. And this is why adding collaborators is so important. To me, it is much easier to do this all within Instagram. What's not great about Instagram is you can't reshare it like on your own feed if you wanted to. And I'll let you know when and why you'd want to do that with Facebook. And also what I like about Facebook is if you ever wanted to add maybe the link to your total cost analysis, you could add it in the caption or as a comment, and it's a clickable link. Again, in the spirit of removing friction, most people, they just want to be like, they want to click. They don't want to have to then get out of the reel to then go to your bio to then click your link tree. Okay. So that's what I like that Facebook does, but Facebook's reel editing and just process is a little more clunky in the sense that I really like that you can start and stop by hitting the belly button guy over and over. And this is, for some, they like to record one sentence at a time. They're not trying to be like a one-take Jake and give a perfect 30-second, which we would think that would be easy. But sometimes we get up all in our head and we can memorize like one sentence at a time. That's what's nice about the reels is I could just do one sentence at a time. I could change my view a little bit without having to do any fancy edits. And I can make it a little bit closer. I could pan in if I want to. It's a little bit easier all within Instagram, not so much with Facebook. You have to go to the edit and you have to hit add clip and then you record and then you go to edit and you click add clip. No more excuses for creating short form video content. You could upload a video where it's a 7-second video of you at your desk, just typing on your computer, not looking at the camera. And there's just like typewriter animation, text overlay for your Sunday thought leadership post. So that's a B-roll video with text overlay that you don't even always have to be in. Maybe it's just you showing something of your team or whatnot, or it's you driving. It's B-roll with text overlay. There's news hacking with the green screen. There's regular talking head videos. So there's all types of content that you can create to baby step this into your workflow that's not too cumbersome. Like, how long would it actually take you if every Monday you made a new habit that you would write down a wealth story or a win or something that you were able to show with a TCA from the last 7 days? What was one success story? And then you just made the commitment to record a reel following the frame, the intro, the problem, the solution, okay, where you record one sentence at a time with a max of like 60 seconds, guys. Like, how long would that actually take you to do every Monday? Let's just say worst case scenario, 30 minutes, because you have to rewatch this, which eventually, once you get really good at it, it could take you 2 minutes, right? Could you do that every Monday and show how your advice makes a difference with evidence, with proof to give meat to the bones? So if you have more questions, you guys know the drill. Just make sure you email marketing@plugandplaysm.com. Feel free to share this with other fellow coworkers within your branch or company who may need to see this or could benefit. And as always, like, subscribe, and let us know what questions you have, because we are here to help amplify you, my friends. Y'all have a great day.